Good morning and a warm welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be talking about Therefore 2022 version 28, which is the newest release for Therefore Online. My name is Jennifer Schmidt and I'll be your host today. I'm a member of Therefore's digital engagement team. I've been working for Therefore for about 12 years now, and I'm really excited to share the new features that are coming in this newest release. Therefore has moved to a continuous release schedule. This means that new features are made available to Therefore Online as soon as they are available, and we have one main release in the spring every year where we roll up all the features that were previously released to Therefore Online and include them with the main release for Therefore On-premise. In addition, we have continuous releases for our mobile app, which you can see that the latest release was done in August of 2022 this year. And we will continue to make enhancements. So typically you can expect to see a main release in the spring as well as a secondary release for Therefore Online in the fall. So that brings us to today, which is Therefore Online, which is going to be released officially on October 11th. And we have several data centers around the world hosted on Microsoft Azure platforms. So this means each regional data center will be updated one by one, starting out with Asia today on October 11th, followed by India on October 12th, Europe a little bit later, October 17th, Australia on the 24th, and other regions in the US and Canada will be updated a bit later. So please check status.thereforeonline.com for exact dates. Today's webinar is not technical. I'll be talking all about the new features, but I won't be going deep into the configuration details. If you'd like to learn exactly how to configure all these new features, please visit the e-learning and sign up for the refresher training. It's free of charge for Canon and Canon partners, and it provides in-depth, easy-to-follow tutorials for all the new features that I'll be covering today. I might be biased because I helped make it, but I truly think the e-learning is great. You can access the e-learning on extranet.therefore.net. Hit the e-learn button and you'll be able to register for that refresher training course. So please make sure to do that to get the real details of exactly how all these new features can be configured. So what's our agenda for today? Well, first we'll be talking about the Teams connector, multiple queues in Smart Capture, saving the signing status for eSignatures, and then updates to the dynamic web viewer, eForms, as well as other enhancements. All right, our first new feature is the Therefore Teams integration. We all know and love Teams. It's become a really invaluable part of the pandemic life. And now it's possible for Therefore to integrate with Microsoft Teams. Users can receive notifications and process workflow tasks directly from the Teams chat. So this allows you to get a notification about a new workflow task that's been assigned to you. For example, you can approve or reject that workflow task. You can open the document up for viewing in the web viewer. And best of all, it's free of charge and quick to set up. So it is really convenient, it's easy to use, and you don't need to buy any additional licenses. So I'm sure you're going to get a lot of really great use out of this new feature. The next new feature that we have is Therefore Smart Capture. Therefore Smart Capture is our AI-based invoice and finance document recognition service. It works straight out of the box. It uses artificial intelligence to extract data from documents and save that data to Therefore. And now you can have multiple schemas and queues for tenants. So this means until now it was possible to customize a single schema, meaning you could change the default currency, add or delete fields, but you could only have one generic schema at a time. And all the documents that were going to be processed with Smart Capture passed through that same workflow. And that was a bit limiting for customers who wanted to use Smart Capture for many different types of documents, where a single generic queue didn't fit. Or perhaps for situations where you wanted to have a fully automated process for some documents and a manual validation process for others. Now you can have multiple schemas with separate workflow queues for each. This allows multiple separate instances of Smart Capture to be executed simultaneously. So you could have one for invoices and another one for delivery notes. So it really expands the potential use for Smart Capture and really makes it possible to use Smart Capture in any situation you'd like. Remember, Smart Capture is only visible in the Solution Designer if it has been licensed. So make sure to license your Smart Capture before you go out and try to use it. And just a reminder, since July 1st of this year, Smart Capture credits no longer expire. So any credits you purchase are yours for as long as you need them. This allows customers to use credits at their own rate and adjust consumption for seasonal variance in invoice volume. Moving on to saving signing status in eSignatures. So it therefore supports integration with a large number of e-signature providers. This means it's possible to send a document for signing using a third-party e-signature provider. To use that feature, you have to save a document that needs to be signed, like a contract, to Therefore. That starts the signing workflow. The signatories receive an email from that e-signature provider asking them to sign. And then once they sign that document, that information is then sent back to Therefore. So you have a whole process that is started and ends when Therefore, without ever using any paper, any stamps. It's really convenient and a really efficient way to get signatures done. Now it's possible, if a signatory declines to sign, to save that signing status as well. So this GIF shows an abbreviated demo. You can see the document is being saved to Therefore for two people to sign. That starts the signing workflow. Roman opens DocuSign and declines to sign the document. He leaves a comment saying the amount of rent is higher than originally agreed. Then the status and comment is automatically saved back to Therefore, which you can see in the index data. The other signatory, Julia, signs the document and the status is automatically updated to be completed. So the providers which support saving the sign and status are Scribble, VismaSign, PleaseSign, SimpleSign, and you can also add a comment in the signing status with DocuSign, uSign, and HelloSign. So lots of options for you to save the signing status, if you like. The dynamic web viewer is something that we are constantly working on. We've gone through many enhancements, including increased stability and performance with this release. They are invisible to the naked eye, but they are incredibly important and really improve the user experience in the back end. The dynamic web viewer allows users to access Therefore documents and workflows from the web. No installation necessary, just open the browser and enter the URL. So that means it's really convenient, especially if you're doing home office. You want to access documents that are saved in Therefore, or you want to process workflow tasks, but you don't want to install anything on your own home PC. The dynamic web viewer is a really good way to go. It's now possible to execute searches saved in the navigator in the web viewer interface. If you have a search that was saved in the navigator, you can now execute it in the dynamic web viewer as a quick search. You can also print and export documents from the action menu. And finally, you can also access eForms directly from the web viewer homepage, which is here. You can see here an eForm icon will take you to all your eForms. Filtered reference tables is another new feature. You can now filter entries in a reference tables using pre-selection. That makes it easier to make the correct selection when using a large reference table. As you may already know, a reference table is an external database that is connected to a Therefore system. Until now, if a user wanted to select an entry from the database, they had to see all the database rows, which could be a very long list. Now you can apply a dynamic filter to that list, so only relevant hits are displayed. Therefore, online customers should use table replication in order to filter reference tables, and we have a really good e-learning course all about that so that you can learn how to set that up. And what you see here is in the GIF is you see a filtered reference tables. We have a reference table for Therefore employees. Users can select which employee they want to delegate a ticket to based on the country and the employee name. So you can see here if they select the marketing department in Austria, there's 2 employees, Jennifer Schmidt, myself, and Lisa Strasberg. When you change to the USA, there's 2 other employees, Amber Swenson and Kono Fusco. So it just kind of shows how much easier it is to make the appropriate selection in a long list if you're able to apply a filter. The next enhancement is for eForms. eForms is my personal favorite feature. They were introduced about 3 or 4 years ago. And we are constantly adding new features and new possibilities just to make eForms even more powerful. Now you can use a fixed filter in the table lookup. So if you have a external database, which is called a reference table, in an eForm, you can now add a fixed filter so that the same results are always displayed. You can define a search order in the table lookup. So you can define if you want things to be sorted alphabetically from A to Z or Z to A, numerically, ascending or descending order. And you can also reorder pages in a wizard form. So you can see here, I'm dragging and dropping the pages in different orders. So that just makes it a little bit more convenient. The solution designer has also been updated. We now have a search function. So you can see in the GIF, you can just type what you're looking for. In this case, I'm typing the word invoice, and you can see the results are being dynamically filtered. So that makes it easier to find what you're looking for, because if you have a lot of categories and a lot of workflows in the solution designer, it can sometimes be tricky to find what you need. But now just type it in and all the hits will be displayed. We also have some new server changes. So they are in reference to stale workflow instances. So a stale workflow instance is like a hard, old, forgotten piece of bread that's been left on the counter for too long. We know if a user has been getting email reminders about their workflow for the past 30 days and hasn't taken any action, there's not much point in sending them yet another email they're bound to ignore. Moreover, sending all of those emails consumes server resources and fills up your email inbox. In order to prevent this pitfall, we're now introducing the concept of a stale workflow instance. So stale workflow instances are processed once a day outside of working hours. New instances are going to be sending daily emails. Instances that are 2 weeks old and no action has been taken will be sent once a week. 1 month old will be sent once a month, and 6 months old will stop sending. So remember, with workflow, you can always send escalation emails to another member of the team in case the original email goes unanswered. Or you can also set up out of office reminders so that if you're on vacation, somebody else will get those workflows. In general, the way that workflow is configured, and therefore it's designed so that if somebody is sick or out of office, somebody else should be getting those emails. Typically, a stale workflow instance really is a workflow that is being executed in a system that nobody cares about, such as a demo system, right? So the number of cases where you actually would have a stale workflow instance are very, very small. So it's not something that you would typically see in a production environment. And finally, other changes. So there's a lot of other smaller changes that are happening, and therefore in this release as well. The first one is we added a filter for all overdue workflow instances. It's now possible to filter workflow by all overdue instances. Previously, this filter didn't exist. Open the navigator, select the workflow tab, all instances, and select all overdue. Now you can embed fonts into a PDF document when you create a new document using the workflow task. When a font is embedded into the document, it means a copy of each necessary font is added to the PDF file itself. This means that regardless of where the PDF is opened, all the correct fonts will be included and will render correctly. Simply select Embed Fonts when creating the new PDF document. And finally, we also added a UTF-8 BOM character to the CSV export in the export document task. This is a bit of a technical enhancement. UTF-8 is an encoding system for Unicode. It stands for Unicode Transformation Format, and it's the most efficient way to store text containing any character. BOM stands for Byte Order Mark. BOM can help make the Unicode encoding more precise and help ensure the correct display of characters. So previously, all CSV files were exported without BOM. Using BOM is optional, but customers now have the choice of using it if they desire. And that concludes the webinar. If you'd like to learn more, check out our website, our extranet if you're a Canon or Canon partner, as well as our social media, and make sure to sign up for our webinars and our newsletter. As always, I love hearing from you. Please contact me at media@therefore.net. Once again, my name is Jennifer, and thank you once again for joining today.